Unlocking success, why a growth mindset and strategic learning are a key to transforming your life. Carol Dweck's book on mindset was an incredible read. It's one of Serena and my favorite books, and it offers insight into two concepts, and that's the fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Now, what a fixed mindset is we believe that we have a certain capability of performing and learning and knowledge, and it's capped. So anything that we try to do beyond that isn't going to be beneficial because we're fixed. We are where we are. And obviously, just as I described that, you can see where there's some dangers in that, where that can inhibit growth and development. So if you're stuck in a fixed mindset, you're really limiting your potential. But there's some safety in a fixed mindset. And the reason we're stuck there is because if we believe we're innately capable of something and we try something else and fail, it's damaging to us as a person. So there is some safety in saying, well, we only believe it's to here. We're not going to try. We're not going to go for more. We're not going to learn more. We are what we are because everything is fixed. So there's a safety in there. It's understandable, but the problem is it really does limit our ability to grow, develop, to accomplish amazing things. What we need to have is what's called a growth mindset. And that's the mindset where we believe things aren't fixed. We're always capable of more and learning. With a fixed mindset, we see problems. With a growth mindset, we see challenges. With a fixed mindset, we see other people's success and we resent it a little bit because they're just better than us because they've done more because we believe we're fixed. But with a growth mindset, we see people's success and we aspire to that and we want to learn from it. Hopefully you now get the point where fixed mindset, while it's understandable that people get stuck there, it doesn't help us grow and maximize our potential the way a growth mindset does. So we need to strive for having a growth mindset. And a growth mindset means being a continuous and lifelong learner. That is a huge characteristic to that. And for those of you who know Serena, you know how important learning is and how important it has been for him to achieve the success that he's had. And that's why we talk about it so much. But what is learning? It's engaging with books and online courses and networks and coaches and going to conferences and events and understanding that that is all a massive and important and essential investment if we want to achieve amazing things. Darren Hardy, who's an author and a coach and a speaker, recommends that 10% of your income should go be reinvested into ways to learn, develop, and grow. And that's something that Serena believes as well. But understanding the importance of having a personal goal and understanding that in order to accomplish that goal, learning has to be a crucial component of that, that really helps us get fired up and helps us on the path to success. What you also should do, and Serena will always tell you, is build a personal curriculum for learning. Don't be haphazard about it. Make it structured. Make sure that you understand, here's what I'm going to do. Is it a book? Is it a podcast, an event, a coach, a network? What is it? When am I going to do it? How is it going to be part of my daily process, system, and routine? So don't be haphazard and be like, I'll just try to read here and there or listen to a TED Talk. Make sure that it's structured, because if you structure it, you're going to get the most out of it. The other part is when you're going to learn, what is it you need to learn? Look at your strengths. Look at your weaknesses. Those are the areas that you want to address, right? We want to massively ramp up our strengths. So what are we going to do when it comes to learning to do that? We want to minimize our weaknesses. What are we going to learn that are going to help us minimize those weaknesses? Because all information is useful, but all information is not equal. And timing matters as well. And when he says all information is useful, it's true. You can never learn too much about too many different things. But it's not equal because based on your strengths and weaknesses and what you're trying to accomplish, there's going to be more value to certain information than others because it's going to support what you want to do. And again, back to that timing thing. Timing matters, right? We may need to learn something at the beginning of our journey on the quest to accomplish goals where it's really relevant. But as we're on that path, we're in different scenarios, different situations that requires different learning. So timing really matters. Where we're at and what we need in that moment is where we need to focus our learning. Lifelong learning means, again, understanding the timing of what you need to learn, our strengths and weaknesses, but also how to track down information in a timely manner. Where do we go? And again, nowadays it comes in so many different varieties: books, conferences, conversations, podcasts, social media, all those different areas. We are in an era where information is just everywhere. Now, humans interpret information in different ways based on their own experience and their own worldview, and this can lead to missing things. And especially, it's a great thing to have such unbridled amounts of information, but then you've got to learn to sift through that information to make sure it's information that you need, it's at the right time, it's actually valid and valuable information. So all that information that you're seeking, that learning, that growth, that development, always needs to tie back to your goals. But again, remember, the brain, just like your body, can become overweight when we have too much information going in and we can't filter out irrelevant information. So it's important that you're very strategic about your information and your learning so that, again, you're not overwhelmed and confused and taking in the wrong information. So, it's like a diet, right? We know if we want to eat healthy, we need to make certain choices with food. Well, if we want to be emotional and mentally and healthy with our knowledge, we got to take in certain types of information and avoid others. So filtering that information is just as important as going out there and seeking it, right? So when you study marketing experts, filtering information and working closely with specific expertise, they do a great job of figuring out what is the most important thing that's going to accomplish this goal that we're trying to do. So again, you want to transition from a generalist to a specialist in learning. And that is emphasized by aligning your learning with your goals. I want to say that one more time. We don't want to be a generalist when it comes to learning. We want to be a specialist. And we specialize by making sure that the information we take in aligns with our goals. Because again, there's a lot of information out there and it's good, but we've got to figure out what's best to align with our goals. But through the lessons we've learned throughout the years, we'll gain a better perspective on that. It's going to help us filter through and make those choices. And we also have to understand that each person's educational path is unique and it has a unique perspective with it. So while we can learn from other people and we can learn and follow their habits and their processes, it always needs to be unique to us. So talk about filtering. We can take a great example of somebody who's achieved success similar to what we're looking for and kind of model what they're doing, but it's never going to be exactly the same. So we need to be able to filter that. And while we model, filter and take the parts that work well for us and align with our goals. But continuous learning is like a process of gaining puzzle pieces, right? We want to complete the puzzle, which is our goal. And through this continuous learning process, we're getting a piece, another piece, and they're slowly fitting together to create an overall picture. And again, that's the goal, and that's accomplishing that goal. But willing to have previous lessons challenged and updated is also important, because with new information comes new knowledge, and that challenges assumptions and things we believed in the past. So you have to be willing to embrace that new knowledge, take it in, and not stay stuck in the ways of the past. And by the way, that is an issue that appears because the more knowledgeable we get, the more confident we get. And that's a good thing. But sometimes we hit a point with that confidence where we're feeling pretty good about ourselves and we're making some progress that we don't want to let new information come in that might challenge what we already think or already believe. And Serena, as you know, is a big fan of sports and sports talk radio. And that's been something that he's learned a lot from in his own career, in his own life, because sports commentators are out there to give really strong opinions. And oftentimes it's two conflicting opinions and we watch and we're entertained by the way they argue. But that's the point. Getting conflicting opinions and filtering that information and using that to formulate our own opinions. And one thing back to sort of challenging assumptions, and sports talk radio, one of Serena's favorites and mine as well, Colin Cowherd, said people tend to seek affirmation, not information. Think about that. Seeking affirmation, not information. Seeking affirmation is biased and doesn't help us through learning curves. It doesn't help us grow, develop. We're just saying, how do we continue to reinforce what we already think? That's affirmation. But people who really succeed Like Serena, seek information. And that information might affirm what we believe, but it also might challenge it. And don't be afraid of that. We want to challenge our assumptions, challenge our current knowledge base, because that's about what a growth mindset is all about. That's how we grow, and that's how we develop. So again, seek information, not affirmation. And you can take in other people's perspectives, and you should, but you want to filter through them and see what aligns with your goals. Understanding that people make mistakes. You get information changes, but it's important to have those different perspectives, and that's okay. Things are always evolving, always growing. And, our opinions are a combination of assumptions, fact, past experience, and past beliefs. And those things are accurate sometimes. They're not accurate, or they're accurate until we learn more and they're no longer accurate. Again, it's just about information and filtering information. But you want to use information, you want to mold it and fit into your own personal goals. But it is extremely important, not just important, but crucial to absorb information if you want to improve personally and you want to improve professionally and you want to diversify where you get that information from. And again, learn to filter through it to create a situation where your information is timely, accurate, and supports your quest to accomplish your goals.